This past week, I drove up to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, the birthplace of Dungeons & Dragons, to spend 4 days playing games, hanging with friends, and meeting a lot of awesome creators at GaryCon. It was a magical experience, and I want to show you a glimpse of what it was like going to a tabletop role-playing game convention. My adventure started by picking up my pal Scott in Chicago. Now, Scott started running Dungeons & Dragons for me and some other friends about a decade ago now, and we've been playing ever since. Checking out this convention and playing a bunch of games with him was definitely the highlight of the trip. If you go to a convention like this, it's nice to have a good pal to adventure with, you know? So the first night we met up with Michael from Night Noon Games. He's the dude that's making the Shadowdark conversion of my Dragontown adventure, among many other awesome projects. Michael was at the show with his longtime pals and weekly gaming group, Jesse and Elliot. They were all there running the Shadowdark booth and promoting the new Western Reaches Kickstarter. And it was really nice to hang with Michael again and get to know his pals. I think going to shows like this, places where everybody has a shared interest, it's really, really easy to make new friends. And with Jesse and Elliot, it felt like we were all instant friends because it was so easy to just chat and get to know each other and play games. Now, the actual exhibitor hall was pretty small, maybe like a few dozen vendors. Definitely some cool stuff to check out. I stumbled upon this cool looking 5e adventure called Hamill's House of Oddities, and like a companion book called The Shadow's Reach. I think it's like the setting. The books are beautiful, and Bryn Haig's, their artwork is absolutely incredible. Just check out these maps. These two books are all that I bought at GaryCon, and that's because most of what GaryCon is all about is playing games. Scott and I signed up for at least one game each day and played even more pickup games. I probably played more games in these 3 days than I would in 3 months. The first full day, we played the Dungeon Crawl Classics funnel, Sailors on the Starless Sea. The group actually cruised through the adventure. We were all rolling really awesome. I think there was only a couple of deaths through the entire thing. That is until we killed the Chaos Demon. At the end of the adventure, one of Scott's characters tried to grab the cool demon flail, and then lava erupted from the portal and killed everyone but like 3 of the 20 characters we had. DCC funnel, mission successful in my book. Later that night, Jesse ran a Shadowdark game. We played the adventure Escape from the Astral Spellhold. It was a super fun puzzle dungeon that was perfect for a pickup game. And it was really cool playing with new friends, and it just felt like we were playing our usual game just in the middle of a strange hotel surrounded by a bunch of other nerds. Lots of laughing at bad rolls and hijinks and weird characters, just all the typical RPG stuff. The next day, Scott and I played a game of Mouse Ritter. The GM Matthew ran us through his own adventure called The Necromouser's Tower, and I just love being little mice trying to solve big problems. In this case, saving some missing villagers from this crazy necromancer. And this is my little guy, Colonel. He's a little troubadour with a needle, and this game was just super fun, like getting to know some random people, playing with a bunch of strangers. Super cool. Later that day, we joined up with Michael and played a game of Mystic Punks, Skate Punks. It was like a skate punk hack, and we were a gang called the Scooty Boys, trying to defend our turf from a bunch of frog punks and a gang of roller derby girls and some weird cult. At one point, this giant graffiti snake came alive, and we were all like grinding on this spectral graffiti snake. It was crazy. And even though the 3 of us were playing with 3 other strangers, we all clicked. It was super fun. The group almost lost it in laughter. Scott and I were on the edge of not being able to play. We were laughing so hard. We were all skating this 17-stair rail while running from a park security guard. And Michael came up with this crazy story about how our old Scooty Boys gang leader skated this rail, and it was so sick that he died Rest in peace, Sick Johnny. Just, I don't know, just hilarious stuff. Super, super fun game. And really cool to play test another GM's adventure. In the end, we gave him some feedback about what we liked and everything. After that, Scott and I called it an early night, went back, got some pizza, and the next day we played some Dragonbane with the folks from Folk and Myth, another adventure created by the GM Bleak Season, just to run at the con. It was a rad, like, stolen memory adventure with vampires and all these, like, weird cats running around everywhere. Super fun adventure, and he was a really awesome, like, very cinematic game master. Dragonbane was a ton of fun too. I had so much fun sitting down with strangers and playing these games. It's like every single person at this convention was creating cool adventures to run for friends and strangers. I feel filled up with inspiration, you know, sitting down and playing through these games and adventures that people created themselves. And what's super, super cool about a smaller show like GaryCon, I think I heard someone say there were like 3,000 attendees. When you walk around this hotel in between games, you see pretty much everyone who's at the convention. I ran into so many awesome people. And at conventions, I always like to carry around a bunch of zines that I've made in my backpack. So whenever anyone comes up and says hi, I can just hand them a game or an adventure that I created. And half the time they would reach into their own bag and hand me a zine that they made right back. Just the coolest feeling. Trading zines, being excited about what each other's working on. We met Sam Amelli, aka Skullboy, and Brad Kerr, and exchanged some zines. I think Sam is probably my favorite artist doing stuff in tabletop role-playing games. Just the most perfect character drawings. And Brad is seriously one of the best adventure writers out there, like the perfect combo of clear and concise writing and descriptions and really fun, clever game design. Just a big fan of both of their work. When I caught the bus from the parking lot, I met Nick Barron one of the days. He makes some excellent dark DCC adventures. He was actually running pickup games each night that sounded absolutely wild. He even had this little pulpit with a skull on the front of it that he was running the games from, super animated and stuff. I gotta try and play in one of those next year. At one point, we were just standing in the lobby of the hotel, and I met Richard Markert, who makes a bunch of cool Morkborg stuff, and then Tiger Wizard from Exalted Funeral, and Luke and Tyler Stratton from Pirate Borg came up, and we were all just hanging out, ended up having dinner for a few hours and talked about making games and drawing stuff and layout. Again, just enjoying each other's company, you know, fast friends because we're all excited about what each other's making. And I had a bunch of those kind of interactions all throughout the weekend, just kind of like nonstop meeting cool people that were making games and adventures, or just there to be excited playing games and seeing what other people are doing. And what's so cool is that everyone is hanging out in the same hotel, so you can just walk up and trade some zines and start playing games with new friends. At one point, I was just standing in line to get some food, and Joe Manganiello and Vince Vaughn were like right behind me in line. I totally should have given them some zines, but I kind of wussed out. Even the celebrity people are just walking around the hotel like just excited to be playing games. For the last game of the convention, I ran a pickup game of Teenage Mutant Tunnel Goons and my Outbreak of the Animoids adventure for Scott, Michael, Jesse, Elliot, and our other pal Greg. It's this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles inspired Save the Zoo adventure. They each made some seriously wacky characters and paraded around the zoo trying to stop this mutated roach from the future from killing all the humans. By the end of the convention, I was a little bit tired, definitely introverted out, so I wasn't totally on my A game as a GM, but I couldn't have asked for a better way to end the convention late at night, just playing with old friends and new friends. So rad. So yeah, you should totally go to GaryCon or whatever nearby convention you can swing. Sign up for some games, run your own, make a zine and hand it out to people you meet. I feel so inspired playing so many awesome adventures and meeting so many cool people. I can't wait for the other conventions I have lined up this year. I'll be at Origins and Gen Con, and then at the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo. Maybe some others will pop up. If you see me there, definitely say hi and I'll give you some zines and maybe we can play a game together. If you'd like to get your hands on some of these zines or pre-order my big 200-page adventure Dragontown in the Darkness Below, check out all the links in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you at GaryCon next year. See ya! Scooty boys!